guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a while. Happy New Year. I haven't filmed a video since the new year started, so might as well, talk to you guys about my 1 year anniversary here in New York. If you're new here, my name is Larissa Chanel. I moved to New York 1 year ago today, so I thought I'd tell you how New York literally changed my life and how I'm so grateful to be here right now. Okay, so I'll give you guys an update about how my 1 year has been living in New York. You hear the sirens? That is New York for you every 5 minutes. Let's wait. Number one, New York is loud. So I'm just putting it out there. You're gonna hear a lot of honks and a lot of screeches. It is a holiday. See, there's a honk. You're gonna hear a lot of honking throughout this video, so giving you very much real New York culture, so be prepared. So stereotypical things as a person that's Canadian, coming to New York was a little bit of not a culture shock, but not really, because I used to come here all the time, but coming here on vacation and coming here to live is completely a different thing. So initially, my issues when I lived here my first week, I never realized how loud it was. Yeah, like I never realized that until I actually was living in my apartment with the windows shut and there was still commotion. Now I'm used to it, like I don't mind it at all, but when I first moved here, it was really hard for me to sleep, and I would like try and look out the window to see like what is going on. Every day it sounded like somebody was getting murdered, killed, screaming, fighting. And I live in Harlem, so I don't know if it's like that in other boroughs, but so I've heard Brooklyn, it's like the same thing. The loudness outside of the window, it brings a little culture. Like I've gotten used to it. I can go to sleep to it now. But before, I was waking up at 7 in the morning to construction, loud noises, and I really would get frustrated. Like people screaming outside my window would frighten me, but I've gotten used to it. Okay, so another thing I would suggest is subletting. So currently I am subletting. So I think subletting is very important before you do that final move. I have been subletting for the past year and it is amazing. So I don't have to put up any furniture or like buy furniture because I wasn't sure if I was staying here for long. And plus I'm just in school, so it's not like a permanent thing. So I think subletting is like the easiest option for anybody trying to move and pack up their things and come to New York, because you're just not sure about what neighborhood. Luckily enough, I was able to find a really good subletting company and also find something in the neighborhood that was in my budget. You will have to accommodate. That's another thing. Roommates are very normalized here, so don't be like in your head about like sharing a room with somebody, not a room, sharing a house with somebody you barely notice that they're there. The only thing you guys share is the bathroom at this point. So it's really like, don't be too in your head about finding your own place yet. Subletting is cool. You can choose like for 3 months, 6 months. It doesn't have to be for like a long period of time. So I suggest anybody moving and thinking about moving to New York, try Airbnb, subletting for a little bit, and then you like come up with your decision. So that's where it was easier for me. Another thing I would suggest is picking a neighborhood for you. New York is really huge and you need to pick a neighborhood. There's so many neighborhoods in Manhattan. Pick your neighborhood wisely. Don't just lock in and sign a lease on an area that you don't know. I visited Harlem all the time and I knew deep down that I was gonna live in Harlem. So I just booked the sublet and I didn't know that there was an east side or a west side to Harlem. Luckily, God's faith brought me to the west side of Harlem and I love it here. It's literally my favorite place. I can walk to anything, very accommodating. I don't feel like threatened. I feel safe in my neighborhood. Very predominantly Black neighborhood, so I'm very grateful for that. A lot of people are very friendly, so it's not like, it wasn't like a super culture shock. But the culture shock of like, I had my non-negotiables And of course, in New York, you can't get everything you want. So I had my non-negotiables. I really wanted a building with laundry. Didn't happen. I really wanted a building with an elevator. Didn't happen. So you're gonna have to accommodate what you would want, like your non-negotiables for, you know, New York. You're gonna have to budge here and there. So a lot of people could be strict in their rules when they're looking for a place, but I knew I'm gonna have to accommodate. Lucky enough, the laundromat is right street for me. Like, I barely have to walk. It's like 2 stores down. So I'm fine with that. No complaints. I even kind of like, you know, washing my clothes in the laundromat. It doesn't take that long than I expected. I thought I was gonna have to like be a whole stressor, but it's not fine. The walking up the steps you will get used to, because I am on the 4th floor. I had another apartment on the 5th floor. It was hell. Laundry days was probably the most like intrusive, and grocery days, you have to like mentally prepare yourself for those type of days. But I've gotten used to it. It's 2 bags alone. Just stick with 2 bags and you're good, because you will fall over if you have more than one. So I had to always tell the grocery clerk, give me 2 bags, because if I have more than 2 full bags, I will fall down the steps. So that was another thing that you're gonna have to get used to, walking up steps if you live in Manhattan. I'm not sure like a 5th floor walk up, but so far I've gotten used to it. It's only when my friends come over and I'm like apologizing, like, I'm sorry. But other than that, it's pretty cool. So for transportation, leave your car. You will not need your car here. It's very expensive. New York, having a car in New York is a luxury. So driving here is not very ideal. Take the subway, take Ubers. I know it's not ideal if you're a driver, but take the subway. You can get to places in 30 minutes tops all around New York City. I haven't really traveled too far. I haven't really gone to Queens and those places, but you can get to places. I can literally take the train to 42nd Street in 15 minutes. I am in the heart of the city. So I love my location. I love that for me. Usually back in Toronto, it takes an hour for me to get to the heart of downtown, which is very frustrating. I never realized how spoiled I was until I went back to Toronto and I was on the train and I was losing my mind. The train goes very slow in Toronto. Compared to New York City, the trains run really fast, very efficient, but be careful because it is not the safest option. Of course, we already know what happens on the subway, but if you already lived in a big city, you're already hip to like the crazies and all the drama that happens. You just have to tunnel vision. Don't look at them. Tunnel vision. Keep your head straight. Keep your music low. Be aware of your surroundings, because they will talk to you, and it's bad to, like, you know, you can't prevent all bad interactions, but just be on your P's and Q's and just, you know, be toughen up. You gotta like, you can't let them run you. So just put on your straight face and you're good. Nothing bad has ever happened to me either. They probably just like speak to you, but completely ignore them. You hear the sirens? That is New York for you every 5 minutes. Let's wait. Sorry, let's wait till this is over. Along with not bringing your car to New York, there is no parking. Doesn't matter if you live in a building, you will not be accommodated parking. I was mind blown when people live in actual apartment buildings and there is no underground parking. Like, I was mind blown. Like, you guys can't like write a note and say like, this is my parking space underground. They don't have no underground parking because Manhattan is basically an island, so there's no like underground parking that I've seen. All my people that live in apartments, they don't have a direct parking spot. It's just based off of luck every night, and that stress would just like kill me every day. Having to think about where you're gonna park your car is literally a New Yorker's nightmare, but also their reality. When they have a car, they already know, like, if they're living somewhere like that, my friends who are in the Bronx, they have to literally sit their car there. They don't want to move the day. They'll take the subway so they don't have to move their car for the weekend. I don't really understand it. It's really frustrating, but yeah, they have to walk blocks atop of blocks just to get back home because they found a parking 3 blocks down. So that is another like stress where I'm like, do not bring your car. And if you want to bring your car, if you have the luxury of having to hunt down and be a pro at parallel parking and squeezing yourself in a parking space. As speaking of like, you know, having to walk down 10 blocks, now I'm sounding like a New Yorker. They measure their street time walking and not minutes, like, oh, it's just like a 10-minute walk. No, they're gonna say like 10 blocks, and it's by numbers. So I will be on 125th and they're gonna be like, oh, it's 10 blocks, meaning that is on 115. And I have become a pro at the walking. Be prepared to walk at least 10K steps a day if you're heading out with your friends and you're gonna have like a fun day out. Wear comfortable shoes, because every time I hang out with my friend, I'm telling her, girl, I'm hitting these 10K steps. I feel like it's impossible to be overweight in New York. Like, I'd be winded walking up the steps on the subway. There's not a lot of escalators at every stop either. The subways, you have to walk up steps, then walk up and another set of stairs. Like, I feel like it's very impossible to be overweight here. Like, every day I'm like, New York City, please go easy on me tonight. That's how I feel anytime I walk up this set of stairs in my apartment, in the subway. It's very intrusive. So be prepared for a lot of walking, and it's not bad once you get used to it. With the walking, I never realized how dirty New York City is. We know New York is dirty, but I never realized until I started wearing my shoes, and my shoes stay clean. My shoes usually stay clean. Here you have to wipe them off at least maybe like once a week, because then they start seeing all this dirt come on your shoes. And I was like, my shoes are done. I gave up with the keeping them clean. Yeah, New York is very dirty on that aspect, which is kind of annoying. And there's a lot of rats, but the rats walk by and I'm just like, y'all are dramatic. Like, it's nasty to see. I don't really have like the strong ick and hate for them, but that's what comes with being from New York. I'm listing a lot of negatives right now, but that's what comes with being from New York. Like, I really could care less about, oh, it stinks, it's garbage, it's loud. You're gonna get that back in fun and community. So I don't really care about that things, okay? Also, surprisingly, New York is not that expensive. Depending on where you live, I feel like you can really maneuver grocery prices. You can hustle. There's a lot of like street vendors outside where you can get things discounted outside of, well, my neighborhood specifically. You can discount, you can hustle. They sell fruits and vegetables outside of my house, and I'd be like, yo, give this to me for $1. Give this to me for like $2. I only have this much. They're very like understanding, very much hustle culture here, which I love. So I feel like it's really not crazy expensive depending on what you're doing. And compared to like Toronto pricing in like restaurants and things like that, I feel like it's very attainable to find a cheaper restaurant. It's just because I'm paying in USD and I'm Canadian, so that's where I'm struggling, because I'm not really making a US income. So completely understandable. But for an average American, New York is really not that expensive, because like I said, the rent is probably the most expensive thing, and you're gonna have to, like, you know, you're gonna have to maneuver. Like I said, you're not gonna get everything you want. So I would say that it's not that expensive, because you get back what you're paying in rent, you're getting it back in community, because outside is your community. You're getting it back in fun, you're getting it back in opportunities, and you're getting it back in motivation. New York has changed my life so much in the 1 year. It really has opened my eyes, and I will never regret paying what I pay for rent in Canada compared to here, because I wouldn't get that back in experiences. I wouldn't get that back in opportunity. So the way I look at my rent is as an investment, and I don't really like, once you live in that everything is expensive, you're gonna keep getting more expensive bills come on to you. So just be mindful, be smart, and know how to like know what is right for you, like tips and tricks. Like, don't always take an Uber, take the subway. Sometimes the subway is even free. You can just go through the door. Like, I'm telling you, New York is very hustle culture, like, where you can get away with a lot of things without paying, and like, it's not like strict. Another tip, no rules, just vibes. I love that. Being from Canada, everybody follows the rules. Everyone is so strict and uptight about the rules. You can hop on the bus and tell the bus driver you don't have any change right now, and he will let you go on the bus. You can literally somebody tell you not to park there, you can double park. The only time you really listen to the rules is the police. People jaywalk here like nothing. I didn't realize how bad the jaywalking was until I was standing at the lights and like waiting for the light to change, and everyone is walking. That's a huge culture shock for me, because in Toronto everyone just follows the rules and listens to the street signs and does not jaywalk unless it's like a huge gap. It's not really like a normal thing. This is normalized. People have places to go. The jaywalking is ridiculous here. With strollers, nobody follows the rules here. It's no rules, just vibes. And I love that, because why are we so programmed to following rules? I feel like I've been programmed to follow rules my whole life. So being here and nobody like really listening to authority is like something I kind of enjoy. Another thing I would say is, this is a city of 8 million people, so you will be overwhelmed when you go outside. There is a lot of people. When I first started going out, I would be so tired and drained. I don't know what it is. It's like I would just be around a lot of people, the energies of people, but I would be so drained and tired because you're overwhelmed. So I think I got used to it. Still not so much, but you're going to be overwhelmed if you're in those spaces, and you're going to be surrounded by a lot of people. You don't realize how much people live in New York actually until you go to the grocery store. There's long lines. Until you go to, I don't know, like a restaurant, and the wait time is crazy on a regular weekday. You don't realize how much people until you're stuck in traffic. Because we see Times Square, we think, okay, maybe that's where all the people are. But you don't realize the average day-to-day New Yorkers who live their lives, there's a lot of people in a lot of neighborhoods. So when they all come together, it's really a lot. You're gonna have to wait in some lines. The Trader Joe's lines are crazy, ridiculous, but we move. We have Trader Joe's. My favorite grocery store. I literally hate all the other like fine fare grocery stores. Don't go to the local grocery stores. I wouldn't suggest, because the prices are like too up and down for me. Like the actual supermarkets, I find like I personally hated grocery shopping in New York at those places. So I would go to Whole Foods. Surprisingly, Whole Foods would be cheaper than the fine fares and the supermarkets and the like crazy. My number one choice is Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, I can buy $100 worth of groceries that could last me about 2 weeks, and I'm good. I really love Trader Joe's. So weigh out your options, and if you don't have a Trader Joe's in your area, take the Uber, take the train. Like, that's normalized. You can go on the train and do your groceries. Like, that's literally normalized here. It's no one's looking at you, nobody's paying you any mind. Just hop on the train, literally. The food quality gets better, but being a Canadian, I realized that the food quality is not the greatest. I had a really hard time finding foods that I like, finding restaurants that I like, and I'm still on that journey. Let's just say. And that a lot of the restaurants have like strict menus, meaning like if I had like Moxie's or Joey's, I can get sushi, I can get pasta, I could get different I could get tacos, different cuisines in one restaurant. Here is very like Italian at one, Spanish at one, soul food at another. So you really have to just lock in and choose your options, which is kind of like annoying. I don't like that. I love Toronto because we are such a multicultural city where you can get like everything that you want on one menu. It's not like so strict and curated. I feel like if you go to the bar, maybe you can get all those things, or go to like an Applebee's, but their regular restaurants are very like soul food, Asian cuisine, Spanish, steakhouse, very like strict, which I don't like. Another thing at the restaurants, they take your whole entire credit card and go somewhere with it, or they need to take your credit card at the bar. I was really confused about that. They take it, they go somewhere, then you come back and sign the check. It seems very outdated, where I'm used to the waiter being right here. I put in my PIN and I tip them on the machine and we just go. I feel like the whole leaving with my card work, where are you going with my card? Like, it's like a little nerve-wracking, but that's something that they're used to. They're like, here's my card. It's like, y'all not scared of fraud? I guess not. And I don't think, and then like they double charge you, so you would have your regular bill and then you have your bill with your tip included, like on my bank statements. It's just like annoying. I really don't like eating out in New York. Like, it's probably one of my least favorite things to do because the conversion rate is just crazy, and I like to cook at home. The food's not mind-blowing to me. I don't have a favorite restaurant yet, so it's whatever to me. I think that's pretty much all like the cons of New York. But honestly, last tip I'm going to say is it is the best city in the world. Literally the best city in the world. So be prepared to be around tourists every day on a mid-Wednesday afternoon. Be prepared to be surrounded by thousands of people. But this city just gives me so much life and so much hope. Like, I am so grateful that I made this move to New York. It literally changed and shaped the way that I see the world. I have been open to so many opportunities. I've gone to so many events, networked with so much people that I am just grateful and in awe. Like, you come across celebrities literally every single day. Being in those spaces and knowing that I deserve to be in those spaces really opened my eyes to the opportunities. And it really is a city for dreamers. It's so romanticized, but I understand why it's romanticized. And I'm gonna continue romanticizing the hell out of New York City. I don't care what some New Yorkers say, like, people come here and think that it's, well, you're not making the best of it. I know some New Yorkers that literally romanticize their life every single day too, because you're not making opportunities. Don't make people feel bad for enjoying New York, because New York is a very enjoyable city. I love it here so much. It has literally changed the way I see myself with hustle culture, with everything that I wanted to do in my career. And I'm honestly just so grateful. It's been 1 year, and 1 year ago I was not the same person. I'm so outgoing. I talk to strangers. I say hi to people that I don't know. I compliment people's outfits. It's like I'm officially a New Yorker now. I don't know what it is. But they can definitely tell by my Toronto accent, like, she's not from here. But overall, I really love living here, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But you know, I am not a citizen, so I do have to end up going back to Canada, unfortunately. And this 1 year just really shaped the way that I see things, and I'm just so grateful that I put my big girl panties on. I'm so grateful that I just put all my fears aside and just closed my eyes and did it, because I'm clearly not the same person I was last year. So take that risk, pack up your bags and move. I will advocate for anybody moving to a new city or town. It will definitely change the way you start to see life. Thank you guys so much for watching my 1 year update on my New York journey. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.